Paketler Adana zirveden selam. Durmak yok omi patlamaya devam.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Yok bundan sonra size sigara filan. Uçuyor yıldızlara müptezel bayan.
Harmanım, baba nerede çarşafım? Gördüğüm bu paketler benim dermanım. Hoppa yavaşça açıldı fermanım. Sakın kaçma buraya gel la kezbanım. Adana çocuğu aga şehrimin delisi. Olay büyük kardeş mevzu kendisi. Plaka 01 korkumuz dinle. Yazmak için yine yuttun bence. Hey torbacı bana versene borç. Olmaz canı valla malları peşin.
Hello and welcome to Monday Madness, the show where we throw the meta book out the window and we just try to have some fun with Age of Empires 2. This week we're taking a look at the Turks. The Turks aren't anyone's favorite civ to pick. However, they do have some unique bonuses and strategies that only the Turks can pull off. However, should the game drag out, you have very limited options, since the Turks have arguably the worst trash in the game. Now, let's get right into it. In the first game, I'm playing against the Incas, and the map is Arabia. My plan is to go scouts into knights and then add some janissaries to counter his pikemen, as this would probably be my best options should he go into mass archers or eagles. But before I even have time to put down my stable, I am met with a counter masterpiece. This guy is trying to noble rush me, but I keep calm and I realize that he's not actually dealing any huge damage to me. For now I can do without my main gold and secondary stone, and I simply relocate my wood line. I stick to my plan of making scouts, and I'm careful not to engage with too low numbers since Inca villagers can pack a punch. I kill some villagers and I take down a few towers, and this stalls his push considerably. He later adds some spearmen and make more towers, but at this stage I'm already up to the castle age. Once I'm in castle age, I drop a castle to take down his towers and I start making janissaries. Since he's still in feudal age, he doesn't have any answer to my unique unit, and before long he gives it up. Sadly, I barely got to use my janissaries in this game, but that in itself is a testimony to just how strong they really are. In the second game we're playing against the Celts, but this time we're playing on Arena. And this is where the Turks really can shine. My plan here is to go for a forward castle drop into janissaries. Most of the time that is enough of a plan to make people resign, but should the need arise, I can add some siege or petards. For the unaware, these are the stats for a castle age janissary, and here's the comparison with some common castle age counters. And just as an example, this is usually what happens when they run into an enemy mangonel. If the mangonel is even allowed to get close enough, with that one less range that is. Oh wait, what's this? His tower rushing me. This is going to slow me down and cost me stone to make towers in defense. This is probably what he has in mind, and I don't blame him for trying to stop me. But bad news, Mr. Opponent, I have safe stone, safe gold, and amazing micro, so your tower rush will achieve nothing. Once I'm up the castle and can afford a castle, I drop it at home to clear up his towers, and to keep my base safe from further aggression. Initially I have to abuse the market a bit here to afford villager and janissary production, so if anything his tower rush accomplished that at least. But eventually my economy is back on track. Once he hits castle age himself, I know that it's time to strike. I need to deal damage before I can make a large force of crossbowmen or boom with triple TCs. I add some petards and move out across the map. My opponent must have felt very safe here behind the stone walls, because he added 2 more TCs and he's caught completely off guard by my petard push. His whole economy flees in panic and there's nothing standing in the way of the janissaries. Eventually I run into some skirmishers and crossbows, but they don't stand a chance. With my janissaries and their 8 attack, I can easily snipe villagers all over the place and still be safe from TC fire. He makes some small desperate attempts to push me away, but this all fails horribly. When I move out to drop another castle, he's had enough. Another example of how dominant the janissaries can be if used correctly. If you still don't believe me, have a look at this kill-death ratio. And as a side note, the death is a villager that he killed when he pushed me with the towers. Next up we have a returning fan favorite Lail and his approach for how to best use the Turks. Lail is playing against Lithuanians and the map is Arabia. His opponent opens with men-at-arms and Lail counters with scouts, but neither player really achieves anything with this. Later on, Lail's opponent adds archers and spears, and even though this results in a few villager kills, Lail can comfortably mop him up thanks to the extra pierce armor on the Turkish scouts. Both players will now complete the wall and we will fast forward to the castle age. Lail makes some camels to counter the knights of his enemy, and even though they are a decent counter, initially Red just has too many knights. But through some miracle, Lail manages to pass through the enemy lines without having any camels there in support and somehow magically manages to put down a forward castle. However, the position of the castle isn't crippling for the enemy player and he still has a large force of knights, and he started to collect relics. Another fight takes place that the red player wins convincingly. He's also added 2 more TCs to Lail's 1, and he's enjoying a 14 villager lead. Lail really needs to make something happen here or red will run away with this game. But don't you worry, Lail is somewhat of a master when it comes to wacky strategies. Once he has a small force of camels and janissaries, he goes to drop another castle, and this one red really cannot allow to happen. And thus he feels obligated to take a bad fight under the cover of Lail's first castle. Even though Lail is outnumbered here and going up against knights that has +4, Lail manages to come out on top. And he even takes down the red player's stables. Lail later sends some more villagers to finish the castle, and he moves in to raid with his camels. And what a raid it is! Lail perfectly times his attack just as the red player is clicking up the imp and drops a castle. He no joke kills 20 villagers here, and red doesn't have any units in defense here since he lost his stables and spent all of his resources by clicking imp. The game is essentially over at this point, but Lail's opponent refuses to resign, so we are just going to make this into a Turk montage as we wait. GG and well played, thank you for your contribution, Lail. For Le Grand Finale, we have a quite peculiar matchup. We have 2 of my favorite players, Ragnarok and Brix, joining forces for the ultimate terrifying Turk tag team, and they're also going up against a Turk on the enemy side. So we are playing on the arena, and we have 3 players playing as the Turks, and 1 boring guy playing as the Franks. Boo! I hope they attack this guy first. Either way, since it is arena, we are going to fast forward a little bit. But we don't need to fast forward too much before we see something different. Brix is going for scouts, and this is particularly good on arena, for early map and relic control, and especially with the Turks, since you get the light cab upgrade for free upon hitting castle age. Regni is going for the castle drop into Janissary's approach, and Brix is there to protect him. Nothing can stop this castle from going up. Sadly though, the lame Frank player is also smart. He drops a castle in defense and even adds a second layer of stone walls. Even Janissaries don't have much to say in this situation. So the terrifying Turk tag team moves on to the less defended opposing Turk player. Regni blasts the hole open in the walls with his petard and unleashes Brix's light cap. The yellow player has done yet another Turk specific strategy, namely fast imp. He's gone to imp in a lightning fast speed, and he's using the fact that the Turks get chemistry for free and has added some hand cannoneers and bombard cannons. This strategy has a huge potential and can be hard to combat. But light cav is in fact an excellent counter to this. Also, this strategy makes your economy extremely thin and it's hard to afford much army, and any losses to said army will give the opponents time to catch up. Brix light cav destroys everything they come across and puts yellow down to a mere 22 villagers. Both Regni and Orange are now up to the Imperial Age and they start exchanging trebuchet fire. Orange also adds some Cavalier to try to help his teammate out, but when he loses his trebs to Regni's bombard cannons and eventually his castles go down, He feels that he can't defend his base any better than Yellow could, so they both resign. Thank you for providing with this ultimate Turk finale contribution, Bricks and Rainy. Thank you for watching this week's episode of Monday Madness. If you haven't already, feel free to give this video a like and consider subscribing not to miss out on future videos. In the description of this video, you will find the links to my social media where I will be posting when the next video is uploaded. Should you like to take part in the next video, feel free to join my Discord where I will be posting the next week's strategy. Bye for now and have a nice rest of your week.